For information about Drum Corps, a list of official DCI wearing apparel, a copy of the 1987 DCI yearbook, or to order a complete audio or video recording of tonight's performances, contact DCI, Box 548, Lombard, Illinois, 60148, or simply call area code 312-495-9866. So here we stand smugly in the press box, albeit a bit warm, while a few thousand young people below us massed for one of the most colorful spectacles that you will ever see. This is what we call the retreat and the ceremony and the awarding of the prizes.
To the non-participants, as we usually say.
Having been there, having marched for 12 years, I can tell you what you feel out there. And Charles, it's tough to grade an artistic musical form like this, but you have to put numbers to keep the competitive spirit alive, and I guess that's what gives this activity the fascination.
Well, don't forget that there are many kinds of musical competitions around the world in very serious music. In many countries, they're holding competitions for piano, for violin, for voice. And so one for Drum Corps is just another competition in which excellence prevails. And we've certainly seen a great deal of excellence in marching and in playing tonight.
Truly, team effort is what prevails here, Michael. You've got to be a finely honed unit. The individual is a part of the entire sum total.
Here is a case where the individual is also personality reflects the sum total. We saw 5 corps live tonight that were amazing in their complexity, but mostly amazing in what they do differently than each other.
It's really true, a wide variety of styles.
Boy, you know, we start with that symphonic style of the Cavaliers, 20th century wind music, in fact, the ultimate wind ensemble. Then we got the Phantom Regiment, all white scenes from the Winter Palace. Then followed by another Russian show, the amazing Santa Clara Vanguard, magic and motion, an unimaginable ballet. Then, of course, we have the Garfield Cadets exploring their American music. And, of course, that sleek, slick Blue Devils.
Well, who will it be? Will it be another back-to-back finish for the Devils? Will Garfield take their 4th title? Will Santa Clara cap off what had been an undefeated season coming into the semifinals?
Well, come on.
Well, early on, we said Garfield. I am going to stick with Garfield.
You know, you get on this telecast every year, and you do the same thing.
What, pick a winner?
Only half the time. What do you think about that Santa Clara coming in?
Santa Clara was awesome tonight. They found another level of excitement. They put the crowd on its feet, and they were fantastic.
The Dark Horse Blue Devils?
You never count them out? I mean, this is not easy.
And what about the crowd favorite tonight? What about the Phantom Regiment?
I'm glad I'm not a judge. Well,
as Don Angelica said, no, I'm not.
We have the moment of truth here. All the drum majors are set. Let's join the PA announcer for the scores.
In a tremendous thank you to these 12 finalist corps for an incredible performance and a wonderful season. And now, the decision of the judges. In 12th place, with a score of 81.9, the Sky Riders. In 11th place, with a score of 85.7, the Blue Coats. In 10th place, with a score of 87.6, the Spirit of Atlanta. In 9th place, with a score of 88.8, Suncoast Sound. We have a tie for 6th and 7th. The score is 90. The tie is between the Velvet Knights and the Star of Indiana. In 6th place, with a score of 90.4, the Madison Scouts. In 5th place, with a score of 94.3, Phantom Regiment. In 4th place, with a score of 94.4, the Blue Devils. In 3rd place, with a score of 94.7, the Cavaliers. In 2nd place, with a score of 97.8, Santa Clara Vanguard. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1987 Drum Corps International Champion. In 1st place, with a score of 97.9, the Garfield Cadets. The revolving championship trophy.
Well, we told you this would be close. How prophetic. A 10th of a point, giving Garfield the championship over Santa Clara. And as we look at a breakdown of the scoring, Santa Clara had a 4/10 of a point edge in general effect, and Garfield had a 5/10 of a point edge in percussion. They were dead even in brass, dead even in visual. So that 1/10 of a point edge in percussion, Michael, pulled it out for Garfield, 1/10 of a point. Look at that score rundown.
The amazing Garfield percussionists are the people who won it for them tonight. The general effects scores, of course, Santa Clara being so high, so terrific, so exciting, so theatrical. Garfield with the musicality and the intricacy that made it work for them. Scores like this are always amazing. We have another 1/10 down between 4 and 5. We have another close scores at 3. Amazing scores tonight, and not a record high though, which is what's interesting.
98.4, won it last year and the year before. So for Garfield, that is their 4th title. We'll run down some of the caption awards that will be given out. The High Visual Award going to Santa Clara and Garfield. It was a tie for High Visual. And get this, High Percussion, Garfield, unseating the Blue Devils, who seem to have a lock on that trophy. But Garfield pulled 2 perfect 10s in percussion, both field and ensemble, so you can't beat that, whereas the Blue Devils were sitting there with a 19. Garfield had a 20. High brass tonight, again a tie.
Another tie.
Santa Clara and Garfield. High general effect, as we mentioned, going to Santa Clara. They did turn on tonight. They had that crowd on the edge of the seats, Charles.
And here's one that we always look for, the High Auxiliary Award, won and deservedly so by that great dance troupe from the Spirit of Atlanta.
Now, as we said, for many of these kids, this is it tonight. They've aged out at 21. They may leave behind a souvenir, some shoes, who knows what bit of memorabilia, sometimes even a letter.
Often it's a letter and something very personal that's found often by cleanup people, other times by other members of other corps and written home.
Look at that pride with that Garfield group. Some of these kids also, of course, are involved in music education. Now, Charles, at Indiana University, you are involved with a credit-bearing program. Tell us what that's all about.
Well, for all of the work that these kids have put in through an entire summer in drill and marching and in playing and in perfecting their instruments, we are pleased at Indiana University School of Music to offer college credit in ensemble playing for the hard work that they have done. We have people who have looked at this and have made professional judgments about the excellence of what has happened both tonight and many other nights when they've been in public performance, and we're pleased to offer this credit to any of the students who have participated all summer long in such a great program.
And there are other corps to be saluted. Earlier in our broadcast, you may have seen the Class A and A60 champions. There were 13 corps who didn't compete here tonight, who made it into the semifinals, who did wonderfully well. They are on the cutting edge. We salute them as well. They are also member corps of DCI by virtue of their finish. The Florida Wave, the guys near and dear to my heart.
Only 6/10 out of the finals, the Florida Wave.
They're from the greater Fort Lauderdale area. Guys, we're real proud. Boston Crusaders, perennial contenders. Dutch Boy, the Crossmen, the Troopers, an old favorite.
And then, of course, the Marauders, Freelancers, and our great corps out of the Midwest, the Colts from Iowa. Connexion, revitalized this year from Canada. Blue Knights from Denver. And Spartans, great corps, one and all. Spartans at 22. And, of course, the Class A champions also, the Ventures.
Now, this is a letter we mentioned. This is some of the things that you find left behind on the field. This was, I'll read you the letter. It says, to the person who finds this, every great thing must end, someone once said. Marching your last year in an activity as exciting as drum corps, every show is your last in that certain town. This is my last DCI, and hey, thanks for the fun years. The Northmen will be back. Watch out. That's from Lynn Hanna, drum major of the Northmen, who leaves at the age of 21, as do many of these members of the Madison Scouts and the other several thousand people out here on this field. Tears in their eyes as they left. And gentlemen, it has been another magnificent night. I have enjoyed every minute of it. 22 years in this activity, and it just gets more and more fun. Michael, some closing thoughts.
Well, you know, Steve, I've never seen a more exciting finals than this one tonight. The scores were close as they should be, and the competition was hot and fierce. But there was art happening out there, too.
Indeed, there was art happening, and that's what thrills me. I saw some kids who probably were introduced to some of the greatest music that's ever been written through the aegis of drum corps, and I think that's a fabulous thing.
Some 40,000 people turned out here in Madison the third year in a row for this show here. Next year, it all goes on the road to Kansas City in '88. And we, of course, hope to see you then, and we hope you'll join us on PBS once again in 1988. Once again, to recap briefly, Garfield Cadets taking their 4th title by a scant 1/10 of a point over the Santa Clara Vanguard, who had gone undefeated into this championship week. You can never count any of these corps out. It has been another tremendous night of entertainment, another wonderful night here at Camp Randall. Madison, you've been a wonderful host. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. On behalf of the entire broadcast team, I'm Steve Rondinero. Good night, everybody.
These championship drum and bugle corps were recorded as they performed this past August 15th. We're off to the Goonies of Midway Island next today here on Channel 9, followed by sneak previews, a look at the best films of the 1980s. And later tonight, all about the domesticated history of 5,000 years of cats. Tonight at 8 on Nature.
hotels, restaurants all over the country have joined together to make possible this special program. Our golden arches have always been lit with the promise of tomorrow.
Cook Group companies of Bloomington, Indiana are also proud to support drum corps activities.